Disneyland and Walt Disney World have some amazing attractions, but there are a few that I would replace if I could. I love almost everything at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. The parks have an amazing array of attractions, but there are a few attractions, a few rides, and a few places that, if it was up to me, I would definitely rip them out and put something else in. I've got these broken down by park at Walt Disney World, but a couple of them you'll be able to figure out definitely apply to Disneyland as well. So let's start with the Magic Kingdom. I've actually got 3 things I would replace or redo here. The first one is the Indy Speedway. At Disneyland, it's known as Autopia. If there's anything I don't like at Disney, it may be these. They smell, the fumes are terrible, and there's nothing special or unique about them anymore. The Six Flags parks all have a driving your car ride. The Cedar Fair parks all have a driving your car ride. It's not unique. When Disney put them in, they really didn't exist in other places, but it's nothing special anymore. It takes up a huge amount of room. They're probably one of the most dangerous rides out there as far as the employees, because they're trying to stop cars while people are ramming each other and doing all sorts of stuff like that. You look at it, it's just like, wow, there's so much more they could do here. Now, I know people love this ride. I know it's special when your little kids can drive for the first time, but they can do that in other places. This is just one of those things that, for me, it's just time for it to go and put in something else that's more modern, more fun, more entertaining than, oh, look, I get to drive a car. Another one that I would replace is actually over in Fantasyland. It used to be a ride right where Snow White Scary Adventure used to be. They now have the Princess Fun Fair, where they have 4 princesses, and you can wait in an hour-long line, typically, to meet 2 princesses. And I'm kind of like, wow, we took out a ride that actually entertained, and we put in a long queue. Yay! How exciting. It's something that really used to be over in the Toontown area, and of course, when they turned that over, they moved it into Fantasyland. I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. But I just feel like it's a loss. They lost a ride. They lost something amusing, really, for people waiting to not do much. If you know me, you know I love characters and I love meet and greets. But that one I just don't think works well. And I think it's a loss of space. So what would work better? Well, looking over at the Circus area and what used to be Toontown, and the County Bounty's still there. When they redid Fantasyland, they did an amazing job, and most of Fantasyland is wonderful. I like what they did with Dumbo, and putting in the twin rides and the circus tent there for it, but everything around it, let's be honest, stinks. It is the most underwhelming, underused area in the park. They do have character meet and greets there, but the lines are short because nobody wants to hang around this ugly area. People don't even seem to know the characters are there. This whole thing almost became like a, hey, we love Fantasyland, and oh, what do we do with that? I don't know, let's just slap something onto it. It really looks bad. It's just very underwhelming. It would be nice to see them take this area and actually put some love into it. Take the princesses, bring them back over there, and you could turn this into a beautiful, well-done character meet and greet area. You could do the princesses there. You could do the other characters there, like Donald and Goofy, and turn it into a very nice meet and greet area. Leave the store, leave the bathrooms, rip out the circus wagons that are just sitting there doing nothing, rip out a couple of the other things that are just sitting there doing nothing, and do something nice with it. Toontown I actually thought was a pretty well done area. It was meant to be temporary. It actually brought things together and had a variety of experiences. And now you've got Dumbo, you've got the Goofy roller coaster, and you have a tent that people ignore, and everything else there is just stuck. Redo it. Jumping over to Epcot, again I have 3 that I would redo. One is kind of being redone already, and that's Innoventions. My kids loved Innoventions. Innoventions was an amazing thing. Of course, before it was Innoventions, it was Communicore. And there was so much to see and do and experience, and then Disney just kind of abandoned it, and it slowly rotted over time. Well, now with the remodeling, they've destroyed one of the buildings. And of course, with the closures, it's kind of really put their whole remodeling idea on hold. But I would love to see them actually do something fun and interesting with the building. You had these great buildings. Why not do something with them instead of just letting them sit empty? Remodel the inside. Put in some new exhibits and experiences. They're big enough. You could put a dark ride of some sort in it. Something that would fill it out much better and be much more fun. Even if they just took the event pavilion and put it there and put in another restaurant into Future World, it could use it. Or do something more entertaining. But the whole idea that they came up with to just scrap two of the buildings and throw the whole center off balance and put in a garden and a beer garden. What? Very underwhelming for what it could be, what it should be, what it used to be. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And hopefully those things get changed. They ended up with one building still sitting. Maybe they'll do something better and come up with a better idea. But we'll see. It needs some real love, though. Not just a what can we stick there to get by. Also on that list, and it's on the list of stuff that they were going to do and it's now on hold again, is an update to Spaceship Earth. We got to see Spaceship Earth in 2006. Fun ride, absolutely loved it. Got to see the newest version, and we really enjoy Spaceship Earth. But the whole descent needs some love. I mean, you're basically playing with the computer screen because they don't have anything else to look at, so they're trying to give you something to do. It needs updating. They had an update planned. It's on the table, and now it's off the table because of the closures, and who knows when or if it'll get back on. But Spaceship Earth desperately needs a redo. And in fact, looking at the shirt, it's actually got the other ride that I would redo as well. Not just Spaceship Earth, but Imagination. My family loves the current Journey into Imagination. We really do. We love Figment. Figment's one of our favorites. I have to admit, the very first time that we rode it, we got off the ride and went, wow, what were the ride designers tripping on when they made this? And then we went back around and rode it again. And it's become one that we've fallen in love with. I'm grateful that we didn't see the second version of it, but I also never got to see the first. I never got to see Dreamfinder. I've seen videos of it, and the first ride looked wonderful. It was fun and amusing, and I would love to see them bring back Dreamfinder to bring back some of the feel, some of the atmosphere of that original one. What's there now isn't bad, but it could be so much more. To give it the kind of redo that it deserves would be amazing. Figment has really become Epcot's character. He sells like crazy on the merchandise. Let's give him a ride worthy of the character and all the promotion material they do. It's time to redo Imagination and do it right. Jumping over to Animal Kingdom, there's really only one here that I would replace. And actually, it's not even so much a ride as almost an area. And that's Primeval Whirl and the whole Dinorama area. The whole area is just cheap. You've got a couple standard Wild Mouse spinning coasters that are there. You've got a spinning animal ride that you can go on at any carnival. And really, Disney has some version of that in almost every single park they have. Flying Carpets, Dumbo, Triceratops. The rides aren't unique or interesting in any way. And the area, I understand what they were trying to do with it, what they were shooting for, but it comes across as a cheap, chintzy tourist trap, which I know is what they want, but cheap and chintzy aren't Disney. It's just an area that really, I wish they would take it out and that they would do something much more animal-like. Now, the Dinosaur Museum and that end of Dinoland is actually really neat. I kind of like the playground area they have where you can dig for fossils and stuff. If they took that concept and expanded it and actually made it more real dinosaur, more prehistoric or something, that could actually be really cool. Give us some real animals. I mean, after all, most of the rest of the park is based on real animals. Do something like that with Dinoland. I know we lost Beastly Kingdom. That's not ever going to happen. Pandora isn't real, but it at least gives you a feeling of real. Dinoland as it is now is just like, just, yeah, get rid of the whole tourist trap thing. Rip that whole bit out. Give us something that's going to fit a lot better. That would go so much better in there. If you don't want to do Dino, you've got this Finding Nemo show just down there. Why not something ocean-based even? But let's come up with something better than the tourist trap. My last couple are over at Hollywood Studios. For some people, they're actually some of the most beloved attractions, but their time has come. The first one is the Beauty and the Beast show. This was actually a show that we had really fond memories of when we were there, and when we went back to visit again a couple years ago, it was actually high on our list of, we want to make sure we go see this. We love this show. We really enjoyed it. And then when my daughter and I got to go see it again last year, we were kind of like, oh, this isn't holding up as well as we thought it did. It's still a good show, but goodness, I mean, it's been there how many years now? Well over 10, like 15, almost 20. Okay, it's kind of dated. Some of the things they do are definitely dated. You can see a couple of the costumes are showing their age. The actors are still doing what they can, but it's something that's been done so many times before, they almost feel like they're going through the motions in some ways. The whole show is in need of a refreshing, an update, and really a new show. It's time to replace it. The Little Mermaid show that's over there as well is the same thing, although I hear they may be replacing it. It's a fun show with the puppets and the effects, but it's old. It's just old. They're wonderful properties, whether you want to refresh and renew the shows, or if you want to just replace them with something different. They both should have something there, but what's there is not holding up anymore. They're overdue to be redone. The other one is the Indiana Jones Stunt Show. When Hollywood Studios was a movie studios park, behind the scenes, making of movies and things like that, Indiana Jones was great. It fit right in with the lights, motors, action. It fit right in with the sound studios that were there. It fit right in with the great movie ride, the backstage tour. It fit. Now it is pretty much about the only attraction left in the park that is about the making of a movie. It no longer fits. It's almost like a sore thumb sticking out. Not only does it not fit what's in the park anymore because it's tossed off that whole theme. I don't know what the park theme is anymore. Even what they do shows its age. The fake cameras are very obviously fake. Some of the effects no longer work in the show. And while the performers still do an outstanding job and it still draws in crowds, which actually is important, they need things at this park that can draw in crowds. It just is past its prime. It no longer fits. It's a sore thumb. It's aged. It's time to go. It's a wonderful show. It did its job, but it's time to move on from it. Which is sad because I love the show. I really do. And spent a lot of time taking pictures last time we were there, but it's time to let Indiana Jones go to rest. So do you agree with my picks on what should be replaced and what shouldn't? Do you think I missed something that should be replaced? Or is there a reason that I said something that you think should be kept? I'd love to hear your comments below. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for liking the video, for sharing. Thank you too to my patrons and my YouTube members for their financial support. I couldn't do what I do without them. Thank you as well for checking the description below. There's a ton of information there. Got a question? Check it. It has all sorts of information for you. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. I like what they did with Dumbo and putting in the two. You've got Dumbo, you've got Goofy's Barnstormer roller coaster. You have a spinning Triceratops, which you can go to on at any. Oh, I hope I got all that. I did talk about the Beauty and the Beast show. I did talk about it. I think we're good. I hope we're good. My camera shut down 3 times and died on me 3 times. I'm like, ah!